often that in our everyday carry we have our essential items, obviously our wallet, our keys, maybe some sunglasses if it's bright out. Typically people will carry a knife of some sort, and those of us that carry firearms, it's becoming a bigger thing for people to want to have weapon mounted lights, but often what's neglected is having a handheld light with it, and it is an important thing to have actually. And the ProTac 1L is what I'm going to be reviewing today. Now this is a design by Streamlight, as you can see here. Obviously ProTac 1L, as you can see, it's about 4 inches long and about 1 inch wide. It's pretty small and fits in the pocket very well. May not just be for EDC, maybe camping or whatever. Whatever you really need it for. It has a good amount of durability. It's made out of a 6000 series aluminum alloy, which gives you a good amount of durability. It's about medium durability, not as much as a 7000 series would be, like aluminum alloy frames on like a Beretta or a SIG. But it gives good flexibility and corrosion resistance, and it also holds finishes very well, and it takes to finishes very well. So I've had this for a long time and I've been pretty rough with it. It's been dropped on the ground, scraped around a lot, and it's holding its finish extremely well. So you can see that it's held up throughout the time that I've used it pretty well. So the lumen count on this one, being a 123 powered flashlight, it has about 350 lumens on high. Now this is programmable, and I actually recommend you program it for the brightest setting and just leave it there. That way when you're using it, you're not going to be dealing with strobe at all, because strobe is probably not the best option. It used to be a big trend and it's kind of dragged throughout, but it doesn't do as much as just holding a high beam in someone's eyes. So even if you need to strobe, you can always, you know, wave it around or whatever. So anyways, you could keep it, you know, variable if you're using it as a utility light, like 3 clicks or whatever, to 2 or 3 clicks to get it to low or whatever. And you know, it can be used for utility purposes or whatever. I use this for pretty much everything. So it's good to have an EDC light like this. It's pretty small, pretty compact, but you can still use it in a tactical sense. I have videos where I'm using this in order to demonstrate some handheld light techniques with a pistol, and it fits in my hand, but there's limitations to this. Like with Streamlights, being that this is a very well guarded pressure pad right here, doing something like the syringe technique or the cigar technique, whatever they call it, it's not very easy when you're actually holding a pistol in your hand at the same time. I struggle to actually do that and hold a pretty competent grip because it's so well guarded by these little rises right here. So, you know, the lumen count on this being 350, it actually has a pretty good hotspot, and the hotspot right here actually from about 10 meters away, if you're pointing it in a doorway, it'll cover the width of the doorway, and a normal doorway, I guess you could say the average doorway, it'll cover that, and it still illuminates it very well. And also this is a very good umbrella light, so basically where you basically activate it and just set it up and let it reflect off of the ceiling, and it acts like a really nice lamp, like if you have a power outage. But of course, and that's on the high setting, but of course that's going to drain your battery, which you're going to get about 2 hours of battery life from a fresh 123 battery estimated. Now this C4 LED that's being used in here, this thing is rated to have basically a service life of about 50,000 hours. So it can work pretty well, I guess, and that's the average estimated. I don't know if that's just on high or what, but LED is pretty reliable. This has a pretty good shock resistance, and it is waterproof, or at least water resistant, down to about, I think, 30 meters. So, you know, of course you could test that on your own, and I'm sure people will get different results every time because that's just the way it is. I haven't really seen that many issues with this light, so I really love this thing as a pretty much do-it-all light, and it's also a very good tactical light. Even though you're not getting the most lumens, I think you're getting the most lumens for the size that it's in. and you get a good amount of durability, and it lasts a good amount of time. It is programmable. Some others are not programmable, or they have a side switch like a Phoenix, where you could actually accidentally grasp it or use it, and basically setting down the lumen count and going through all the different modes. So we're cycling through the different modes as you're using it. So, you know, even though this doesn't really have much knurling, these points are actually pretty easy to grasp, and you can use a syringe technique when you're searching and assessing, and it's a pretty sensitive pressure pad, but just getting over these rises, it can be kind of an issue. But anyways, there's really not much to talk about as far as flashlights are concerned. It's a pretty good one. It can be used in a variety of you know, ways, and it can have multiple uses. It's pretty inexpensive, and you can typically find them on sale at some big box stores, and you know, that's what I would recommend. I would recommend a light like this. Anything really smaller, you're going to lose so many lumens, and you're going to be down to like 100. And even if it's just a little bit smaller, and most flashlights in this size category are probably a little fatter, but I think this holds a really good hotspot, and it does very well for me. But anyways, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys found this somewhat useful. If you're going to have a pistol, I recommend having a flashlight. You're good in all environments. It's good utility. And even if you're using a weapon-mounted light, this is good for assessing things, doing administrative stuff instead of pulling out your pistol and only relying on that. So yeah, and get good with using a handheld light in addition to using a firearm. It's a very good skill to have. So anyways, I appreciate you all watching this, and you guys have a good one.